Hello everyone, I am Sachin Haridas Rone, Assistant Professor, Yashoda Technical Campus, Faculty of Pharmacy. In this video, I am giving guidelines regarding Schedule M, which comes under the chapter called as the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940 and the Rule 1945. Now let's focus on Schedule M. So Schedule M is the good manufacturing practices and requirements of a premises, plant and equipment. In order to ensure the quality in pharmaceutical formulation, it is necessary that a manufacturer should follow ethical process and have a proper setup along with a minimum requirement that it should have proper machineries or equipment, right? So there should be a proper guidelines during manufacturing process or during maintaining its quality. So they set up a guidelines called as good manufacturing guidelines. So in the accordance or by keeping this aspect in the mindset, this good manufacturing practices is included in Schedule M, or it is mandatory in Schedule M for the manufacturer to assure the quality. Now the quality of formulation, it is a whole and soul role of a manufacturer, right? He has to ensure the production of desired quality formulation and their stability, that it should reaches to the consumer across the retailing counter. Schedule M is covered under Rule 71, 74, 76 and 78. So it divided into two parts. Now the first part 1 is a deals with a GMP relating to factory premises and material. And part 2 is a deals with the requirement of plant and equipment. So part 1 is relating with the factory premises and material, and part 2 related with the equipment. Now focus on part 1, that is factory premises and material. Now the first criteria is general requirements, right? So there should be a good location of that particular plant, then free from contamination due to sewage, drain, fumes, etc. Right? There should be a proper hygienic condition, prevention of entry of rodents, then insects, right? So the interior surface should be a smoother one, then there should be a adequate lighting, proper ventilation, humidity control. There should be a underground drainage, then concealed electrical and sanitary fittings. There should be a supply of pure water. Then there should be a cleaning and disinfection on a regular basis. So there should be a proper wastage, water waste management and pollution control, as well as there should be a proper disposal of that is of pollutants. So this is comes under general requirements. Now focus on warehousing area. No doubt it should have adequate storage space for various categories of material. It ensure the conditions should be on a good or better or a quality side. For example, there should be a protection from adverse conditions, then separate mark areas in some warehouse for quarantine status. There should be a separate sampling area, segregation for storage of rejected, recalled or written materials, then safe and secure areas for NDPS and hazardous substance, then safe storage of printed packaging material, separate dispensing areas for beta-lactam, sex hormones, cytotoxic substances, and other special categories regular to be checked on a regular basis. Right? There should be a rodent control also. So in this way, this is a criteria that one has to follow regarding warehousing area. Now focus on sterile product. Right? So now check out what kind of requirement should be there for sterile product. Separate enclosed area with air locks, air supply through HEPA filter. There should be a routine checkup of microbial counts, and then laminar flow cabinets availability, then access restricted only to a qualified person. So these are the requirements for sterile product. Now let's see the working space where the manufacturing will takes place. Now what kind of criteria or what kind of conditions should be at working place? So working place, there should be adequate space for the what you call sequencing placement of equipment and the material. There should be a separate place for storage area of raw material. Raw material categorized into three parts, right? That is, first raw material under test, second approved raw material, and third the rejected raw material. So there should be adequate space for the storage of raw material. Then the pipe work, that is electrical fittings and ventilation opening, should be properly designed, that it should not make any hurdles while manufacturing of formulation. So these are the requirements that we have to follow for working place or working space. Now let's see the health, clothing and sanitation of workers. Right. So these are the requirements regarding workers who actually involved in manufacturing process. Right. First, health. If a worker is suffering through contagious disease, right, and definitely so that it may contaminate the product. So right, such a kind of worker should not allow for or should not allow for manufacturing process. Second, clothing, it should be clean and the neat one. Sanitizations or sanitations, it means the disinfection or cleanliness should be that particular area or should be of worker, right? If worker is properly neat and clean, right, free from microorganisms, free from contagious diseases, so definitely the quality will be in product will takes place, right? So that's why we have to take care about the workers' health, its clothing and its sanitizations. Now check out medical services. What kind of services should be at a place of manufacturer, right? So first there should be availability of first aid facility. Then there should be a medical examination of a worker and all other staff at the time of recruitment. There should be a periodical medical checkup of all staff member once in a year, right? And there should be a services of physicians whenever there is a emergency on a very short notice, right? So again, there are certain proper facility for vaccination also should be there. So these are the kind of medical services which is needed at a manufacturer place. Now let's see the sanitation in manufacturing premises. What does it mean? How one should it done, right? So no accumulated waste, no dust particle as far as possible, proper disinfection and cleaning of premises, and no stagnant water. The manufacturing premises be used for a specific purpose for which it is designed. For example, if it is a manufacturing area, so their manufacturing should be done there. If it is analytical area, so analytical process should be done in that particular specific area. So that's why it is mentioned that specific use for a specifically it is designed. So these are the criteria regarding sanitizations in manufacturing premises. Now check out the guidelines regarding equipment. The equipment should be installed to achieve operational efficiency. It should be of good quality, so definitely good kind of work should be there, will be there. The equipment used should be such to facilitate through cleaning, then prevent physical and chemical changes through contact and minimize the contamination. The written instruction for utilization of equipment be provided, that is called as SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. Right. If the SOP is there, definitely it will ease the handling of equipment. Now check out the guidelines regarding a raw material. Raw material should be identified properly because maximum raw material is having white in color, right? So it should identified properly. Then it should analyze for its quality purpose. Then container of a raw material check thoroughly or specially, because if it is a damaged one, no doubt it will get deteriorate, right? So container inspection should be by a regular person or by authorized person. Then store at an optimum temperature, because some raw material have a required specific temperature, so their storage should be according to their requirement. Labeled properly to identify the sample. Then systematically sampled by quality control personnel. Then tested for compliance, right, whether it is properly possess that property or not. So testing is necessary. Again, it is done by quality person. Then while releasing from quarantine area, right, so there should be follow the instructions given in format. So through written application, through written format, it should be released from the quarantine area, and the rejected material destroyed or returned back to the supplier. right? So these are the requirements regarding or guidelines regarding raw material. Now focus on the personnel who actually involved in manufacturing process, right? So what kind of personnel should be there, right? So the manufacturing is under direct supervision of competent as well as the qualified technical staff. The head, there should be separate head for quality control department. The person should be qualified enough and experienced enough that he should maintain the quality in the quality assurance program as well as the quality control operations, right? There should be a written duties assigned to each person, so the person should know what kind of activity that has to do, right? So it should given in a written format. There should be adequate number of personals, so there will be a good or smooth working will takes place. And then there is a follow-up of good laboratory practices, that is GLP, good laboratory practices, right? And on several occasions a proper training should be given to the work personnel who working there, so proper training should be there. Now focus on master formula record, the name itself meaning everything, right? So the licensee means who issue the license should maintain the record regarding the manufacturing formulation for each product as well as for each batch size, right? So it also include the patent as well as or a proprietary status, then its name of formulation along with the generic name if it is available, right? Then the name, quantity and the reference number for the raw material, right? Then the strength, dosage form, then the description, then identification test, then composition, right? Lastly, the statement of processing location, stepwise processing instruction, in process control, then requirements for the storage condition, then packaging details, everything regarding starting from the formulation process till its packaging, right? So everything should be documented in a proper format that is called as master formula record, right? Now focus on batch packaging records. So these are the records which include everything about the packaging of the particular batch. It is based on relevant parts of packaging instruction. Transcription error should be avoided. Packaging material should be clean where the packaging is done. Then the packaging should be in a sequencing manner so it can avoid the hurdles, right? And there should be a proper maintenance of the packaging records. Now let's see about batch processing records. So again, it explain everything. So whatever happens in the manufacturing of a batch, that should be recorded in a proper manner. That is called as a batch processing record. So processing record will be maintained for each product, right? So it includes the name of equipment, then name of product, number and batch being manufactured, then date and time of commencement of that particular batch, then there should be a significant intermediate stages, then initial of operators of different steps of production, then batch number, analytical control number, in process control records, then amount of product obtained. So if it is not on the basis of master formula, then you have to mention what is the reason for that product regarding the value regarding that particular number which is deflected from master formula, that you have to mention the reasons in the BPR. Then if there is addition or a recovery of reprocessed material, that you have to also mention in the BPR. So these are the conditions, these are the data that you have to mention or you have to maintain in the BPR, that is batch processing record. Now focus on standard operating procedure SOP and records. Standard operating procedure involved in every step of a manufacturing till its packaging, till its distribution also, right? So it means everything that is standard operating procedure. There should be a guidelines how to do this work, how to receive the sample, how to receive the raw material, how to manufacture or formulate that raw material, how to label that particular product, how to store that particular product, everything. how to do the analysis, how to handle the equipment, how to calibrate this instrument, everything that given in standard operating procedure. So it means that you have to maintain everything under as per the standard operating procedure, and whatever you do as per the SOP, you have to maintain its record. So that is all about standard operating procedure and record. Now check out the manufacturing operation and control. Right. So control over manufacturing process should be done by a competent technical staff. He should observe certain processes like the weighing, measuring, and the manufacturing process, everything, etc. He has to focus on the sterile product. The sterile product should be free from E. coli and Salmonella typhi. Right. So all this control should be done by the competent authority. Then he has to maintain the batch numbers, he has to check out the batch number, then there should be a details about the batch processing, then he has to work out or he has to supervise the cross contamination if it is there, right? He has to avoid. So there should be a proper experience supervision should be there during the formulation, right? From receiving the raw material to the labeling or storing or sometime to the distribution of the finished product. So everything should be under control by a competent or well experienced person. Now check out reprocessing and recovery. Right? So reprocessing is done only when it is required and it is guided. Right. So the reprocessing reason should be mentioned in the record, and there should be use a proper technique to recover the material. So there should be a corrective measures for a recovery should be split out only if it is permitted in master formula. So recovery should be done if it is mentioned in master formula. Now check out about product container. Right. The product container should be comply as per the pharmacopoeial requirement. Cleaning procedure and sterilization procedure should be properly followed. There should be a written schedule for the program of cleaning the container. When bottles are not dried, it should be washed with deionized water. Now labels and other printed material. It should be stored properly and separately, and use whenever it required. It should not be intermixed with each other. Then there will be confusion a lot, right? Then distribution record. So distribution record properly maintained, records of complaint, then adverse reaction if it is there, and other reactions from consumer or from the retailers everywhere. It should be maintained in a proper manner. So it means that distribution record will check or keep the records regarding distribution of the product. Quality control system. This is the last part, comes under part 1 of Schedule M. Quality control system gives the guidelines regarding the instructions for quality control of raw material and finished product. Quality control for packaging as well as labeling. There should be adequacy of storage, then quality control procedure revised when it is required or when it is possible, and qualitative examination will also done on a written product. So everything that comes under quality control system. So in this way we have concluded everything that comes under part 1, that is factory premises and material as per Schedule M. So thank you for watching.